guys, welcome to this edition of the SA Crypto Market Analysis. We are on day 10, is it, of lockdown, Graeme?
I've lost count, James. That's where I rely on you.
It's just the days are all just merging into each other. We don't even know what day it is, but it's the lockdown edition of the Market Analysis with myself, James Preston.
And myself, Graeme Tennant.
And we had a great trade over the weekend. Graeme has been sharing on our traders WhatsApp group, been a bit of action on our Telegram group as well. Packed, shout out to you. Some interesting trades happening there. So thanks for all the participation on the various social media and instant messaging groups. But right now, Graeme, let's talk about the charts. Let's talk about what's happening. Firstly, let's look at the Bitcoin chart in general. In your opinion, you think things have slowed down a little bit?
Yes, they have in the short term. But yeah, I'd just like to start off by looking at a longer term view of where we're at. And I think, all in all, since the big sell-off that we had in the middle of March, we've actually recovered quite nicely. So I've been really encouraged by the move that we've had from the lows that went all the way down to 4,000. We've moved above this significant blue zone of resistance so that's above 6,000 and above 6,800, which for me are two really important levels. So if you had asked me once we had crashed to 4,000, if we'd be happy to be back up above 6,000. Well, I mean, today we're at 7,400, and that's only taken less than a month, less than 30 days to get there. I'd be pretty happy with that. So I think it's really encouraging that we've seen some positive buying come and enter the Bitcoin market after that big spill, as obviously some a sizable amount of investors saw that as an opportunity to get into Bitcoin when it's cheap. So I think all in all, pretty happy with the move that we've had over the last couple of weeks.
What I'd like to have a look at is the actual macro trend at the moment. It's difficult to tell, but have we had a proper reversal? Are we out of that downward trend? I mean, this downward movement here, which you're showing on your screen, that downward channel there before the head and shoulders, has that pattern reversed, or is there still a sort of bias feeling in the air?
So I mean, let's zoom out to an even bigger time frame in a sec. But for me, what's really crucial now is that we have moved through the 6,800 level, which is really crucial in my mind. And I'm going to be watching closely over the next couple of days to see if we can hold that level. So I think if we can hold above that level for a decent amount of time, that'll be really positive for the price. If we now roll over and start and head below that level, then there's some moderate cause for concern. But I think that's really crucial. Is we're now above 6,800 and we need to stay there. Let's go out to a bigger time frame. So let's go all the way out to the weekly time frame. And again, we discussed this a while back, but we could be looking still at a really macro continuation pattern with the triangle set up here. That's still not completely off the table, but this is really important that we do hold above this blue zone here, in my opinion, which is again the 6,800 level. So if you ask me where we're at right now, we are going to be moving sideways. I think primarily speaking, obviously there's always a chance of quite a bit of volatility. The traditional markets have got a lot of pressure about it, and I think again the major narrative for me is, do those major financial institutions and even our fiat currency, are those going to be called into question? And if they are, then people are going to be looking for alternatives like Bitcoin, and I think that's where Bitcoin comes into its own. But until that scenario plays out, I don't think that we're going to be looking to move beyond 10,000 and higher. But if that scenario does play out, I think that's the catalyst for Bitcoin to really start to make some major moves.
Let's talk about your trade that you had over the weekend. I mean, we were unable to get a market analysis out just because of everything going on, all the work that both you and I had to deal with. But you did get a trade out on Friday night, or it could have been Saturday, which has worked out pretty well. That's both Ethereum and Bitcoin. Take us through those trades.
Sure. So very happy with the the short-term trades that I had on since the weekend. So we had essentially two setups. So this is Bitcoin, and I'll just show you Ethereum as well, because Ethereum was actually a nicer setup. And as I've mentioned in our last market analysis, there's a very high correlation that we've seen. I mean, there's always a correlation between Bitcoin and Ethereum of some nature, but it's been really, really highly correlated most recently. However, the setup on Ethereum was just a tighter squeeze. So there's a tighter contraction of volatility, and that for me is really important when I'm looking to take a short trade. Is that I want a contraction of volatility, and your symmetrical triangle patterns are really great for that type of trade setup. And Ethereum, you can see squeeze really tight here, shown by these pink lines, and then we got the really nice break to the upside, which I was looking for. My target was 165, and that was given from measuring the base of this triangle and projecting it up from the breakout point. We then got another wind up, and this is what took its time, is where we had these lines showed by the blue. We had another symmetrical triangle set up after that initial break, and that was a chance for me to add to my position, and fortunately that worked out really well, and we've had some really nice positive moves. It's even gone through my take profit, so happy with that trade. No point having too much FOMO about the additional move, but that really was a really nice trade. Bitcoin, we've had a similar setup. You can see there we've got the same type of symmetrical triangle shown by the blue lines, breakout, consolidation, and another breakout, and I've traded it the same way, but we just haven't had the same magnitude of liftoff, and that can be attributed to the fact that Ethereum had just that tighter squeeze, and that tight squeeze builds up that additional momentum when you do get that break, and that's the reason that Bitcoin hasn't got to my target of 8,000, whereas Ethereum has already gone through that. So I'm looking to now take risk off the table on my Bitcoin trade, and I've taken some profit, and I've already closed half the position. We'll see what happens with the other half, but if we show any weakness here, I'll be closing the rest of that position. So yeah, all in all, pretty happy with that, those short-term trades.
And then you said on our WhatsApp group that you took 50% of the trade off the table. Are you anticipating, considering you have 50% still in that trade, are you saying that there's a potential for that still to reach your $8,000 target?
Yeah, I think there is still that potential. So, and the fact that I only took half speaks to my uncertainty right now. So if we even go in a shorter time frame onto the hourly time frame here, you can see that we have failed to get to 7,400. We're making another attempt now. And look, this is a strong bullish move out of two symmetrical triangle structures. So there's still definitely the chance that it pushes through this level and carries on going and gets to 8,000. I just think the odds of that happening now are lower, that some of the steam has gone out of this move right now. I mean, Ethereum really was the trade here, and that's now done really well. And yeah, I think this Bitcoin trade is just getting a little bit long in the tooth, and I really don't want to see it dip down from here, because there is a decent chance that we get a bit of a correction, and I don't really want to hold a full position through that correction. So as my odds depreciate for hitting my full target, I'm going to be taking that position off the table.
Now, you mentioned earlier off microphone that you wanted to look at the total altcoin market cap. What is it that's intriguing you about total altcoin market cap at the moment?
We've had some great moves in Bitcoin, but we've also had even more exaggerated moves in altcoins, which is to be expected. And obviously took advantage of that through Ethereum. However, I do think right now that we are running into, again, significant resistance. So this blue zone here shows you that there's been a lot of activity, and it's been a significant level historically, and we've had a really strong run up into this level. So I think that for now, I'm expecting a little bit of a cooling off period on alts. So if you have been holding alts, as I have, probably a good time to look to take some of that again off the table, look for a pullback, and then look to get in at a slightly better price. So I've got a few of the guys are looking at different altcoin trades. For me, yeah, I think we need a little bit of a cooling off period before we can move higher through that resistance.
All right. Well, I think that's where we'll leave it, Graeme, really. So keep an eye out, guys, on the WhatsApp and Telegram groups. Graeme's been a lot more active, which is great, Graeme. We do appreciate that. It's always great to have your expertise weighing in with your charts and with your expectations. So that's where we'll leave it for this week, guys. If you enjoyed this analysis, please do us a favor and like and subscribe. And of course, the big one for us is just sharing this material, whether it's the article on sacrypto.coza, whether it's this video in Twitter or on Facebook, or the podcast itself. Just share it with your friends. We sincerely appreciate all the support we can get. Graeme, thanks so much for this week's episode. We look forward to next week's recording.
Great. Thanks, James.
Until the next edition, we'll catch you online. Cheers for now.
Thanks, James. Cheers for now.
SA Crypto is not a registered financial advisory, and the information provided in this market analysis is for informational purposes only. Each audience member is responsible for their own financial decisions, and SA Crypto cannot be held responsible for any decisions made by those within its audience. SA Crypto strongly encourages all audience members to consult a professional and registered financial advisor before making any financial decisions.